the real challenge is also to bring the SAP landscapes to this platform and to do the migration projects in a way which doesn't hurt the business, and you can run your business all the time. So this is what we are doing. I'm the program and portfolio lead. So this is a little bit like an SAP S/4HANA product manager. So I'm responsible that marketing knows what to sell, the sales know how to sell, and we can also deliver these kind of projects we are talking about, especially in the SAP environment. So let's focus this. We at T-Systems, we have 600 plus SAP customers we are managing on the AWS platform or in our private cloud. So we have got a lot of experience at T-Systems doing these kind of data migrations over the last years. And when the S/4HANA migration program from the SAP came out, we ran out of our offices to the customer before COVID and said, okay, S/4HANA migration with us is the best thing you can do, and let's start a project, dear customer. And we got the feedback, hey, stop, S/4HANA migration is not in the focus. So we have other priorities. And then we got into the discussion with our customers, and we identified these data migration challenges you see right now here on the screen. And this is what we do more or less day by day with our customers, that we do cloud migrations, that we do and migrate test data in test data environments. We are working very closely with companies who are doing mergers and acquisitions. So they are selling part of their companies, for example, and they want to cut out these companies or these parts of the company. They want to cut out and bring it, for example, into the AWS cloud to the new to the buyer. S/4HANA migration is, of course, a very important topic. And also when we're talking about S/4HANA migration, harmonization is also a very important thing. So when we are talking as an enterprise customer, how can I get rid of my SAP landscapes, number of SAP landscapes? How can I harmonize these SAP landscapes, for example, into one S/4HANA system? So these are the challenges. And we have got a lot of experience in cloud migration, moving customers to our cloud, to our private cloud at T-Systems, moving customers into the AWS cloud, bringing up hybrid cloud scenarios. So something is working on premise, the other systems are running private, and the next systems are on the AWS cloud, for example. So this is what we are doing day by day, cloud migration. And from an SAP perspective, it is not really a challenge, to be honest, to make a lift and shift of an SAP landscape into a new environment, into the AWS environment, for example. The challenge is if you have, as a customer, a very narrow downtime window. So you have got only 48 hours or less to do a shutdown of your SAP system, and you have this narrow downtime window. But you have a database which is 40 terabyte big, and you have to migrate a 40 terabyte database in 48 hours. This is nearly not working from a physical perspective. So we have a solution here how we can do near zero downtime migrations. And we have done this together with AWS as a customer in Asia, where we migrated a 40 terabyte database it was around 48 hours with this near zero downtime approach. And these are the real challenges. And we have a lot of experience here how we can deliver these kind of projects and taking the risk out of moving big SAP landscapes into the cloud. The other thing is test data. So also very important from our point of view. So for example, when you're doing S/4HANA migration or you're doing other stuff, you need test data. And maybe you've heard about GDPR and all the stuff around data protection. So we are able at T-Systems, and we are doing this for a lot of our customers, we are able to provide productive test data anonymized in test environments. So we are able to make a selective data migration of production data, anonymize this data, and move this selective data or the selected data into the test environment anonymized. So if you're working with third-party companies to do your SAP project, you have no problems around GDPR. Everything is fine. And selective data migration, test data migration means you do not have to make a full copy of your database. We are only taking parts of your database. So, for example, the last 2, 3, 4 fiscal years, or one special company code you need. And this is what we are doing in a lot of SAP systems we are managing of our customers. Coming to M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So when we are talking about mergers and acquisitions, we are not talking about taking a server out of a data center and bringing it to the buyer. We are talking exactly about how can I carve out a company code inside of SAP, copy this data from the company code into a new SAP system, and then bringing this new SAP system to the buyer. And what we have seen in the past, when the industry is in a crisis, for example, crisis like COVID, you always have a winner of the crisis and you have losers in the crisis. So what does it mean? The winner of the crisis will extend his business and he will buy other companies to get bigger and to earn more money. On the other hand, we have customers who lost because of COVID-19 crisis, and they want to get rid of parts of their company, and they are selling parts. So there's a lot of M&A activity, and we are expecting much more when COVID-19 is going down. And let's keep the fingers crossed that the Ukrainian war is not so long, and we can get rid of this crisis as well. And then M&A activities will go down. Talking about the Ukrainian crisis, so we have a special offering for our customers who want to get or who want to separate their Russian business in their SAP systems, so we can make very easy a carve out of the for example Russian company code, and then moving this Russian company code into a second system. And you have extracted it from your original SAP business and from your original SAP system. So there are a lot of things which are coming right now, and we are expecting much more M&A in the next months or years. S/4HANA migration, you know all this stuff around S/4HANA migration, brownfield, bluefield, greenfield. We are doing very detailed analysis and assessments with our partners. So we have a so-called 360-degree assessment. We are analyzing the technical things. We are analyzing the business processes. And we are analyzing also the license you have. Well, now you have the chance, but you haven't done it right now. You have the chance to change your SAP license contract with SAP to S/4HANA, and we can bring you in the driver's seat to negotiate it right concerning license things. And when we are talking about S/4HANA migration, it's also harmonization. So we are able, and we have done this for several companies, to harmonize 3-4 SAP landscapes into one S/4HANA system. And we have a very special approach for this. And this approach goes through our T-Systems Data Migration Factory. So we can move this data from 3 and more SAP landscapes into one S/4HANA system. And this is a real cool approach. I can give you much more information in detail after the presentation. Yeah, please come back to me. We can show you here a lot, and this drives a lot of. This makes you can reduce a lot of effort here. So what have we done to meet all these migration challenges? We have built the T-Systems Data Migration Factory. And let me explain this to you. Here we have our standard core business we are doing at T-Systems. We have our managed cloud services for private cloud, for AWS, and also our application management and monitoring services, what we are doing. And on top of this, what we are right now doing for our customers, we build up the T-Systems data migration factory for SAP. And then we decide together with the customer, what does it make sense for you? Does it make sense to work with standard SAP tools to meet one of these data migration challenges you see here on top and I've talked about? Or does it make more sense to use a very complex tool like SNP or Natuvion to do exactly, for example, these carve-outs, which you can only do with a tool here in this case? And then you can, and then we choose the right tool and to do exactly these cloud migrations. And when we are in the discussion with the customer, we say, hey, dear customer, what are your challenges the next 3, 5, maybe 7 years? And then they are talking about cloud migration, they are talking about M&A, and of course, they are talking about S4HANA migration. And then we say, okay, let's move it to this T-Systems data migration factory because you can reuse things. You can reduce the downtime. You can use test data migration rules, for example, for your S4HANA migration, etc., etc. You can reuse a lot of things, and this saves you a lot of money. And this is what I want to show you right now. So what makes the T-Systems data migration factory for SAP unique? So we can reduce project costs by 32% on average. We can reduce the ERP downtime by 73%, and we lower the project risk. So I want to give you a real example we have done for a German enterprise customer by using the T-Systems data migration factory. So what does it mean? Reduce project costs by 32%. 32%. Let's bring some flesh to the bone. So we can combine 3 projects into one. So for example, you have an SAP system with an Oracle database. You need to move to migrate the Oracle database to HANA technically. Maybe you have to do a new GL. You have to do a new GL project and an SAP upgrade, for example. This can happen, and this is what exactly happened at this customer. So he had 3 SAP projects to get his system ready to go in the direction to S4HANA, and we can combine these in one project, in one step, and you have only one downtime for this. So we can save project ramp-up costs, we can reduce number of test cycles. That was a business value around 450,000 euro. On the other hand, and this is the real cool thing, reduce ERP downtime by 73%. What does it mean? This customer had 3 SAP landscape, one classical SAP system, one retail system, and one supply chain management system. And they were migrated into one S4HANA system. So with our approach, we can eliminate 7 downtimes in this project. And what does it mean to eliminate 7 downtimes, planned downtimes? So we took an assumption and said, okay, let's assume that the DB migration is always 24 hours in average. That the downtime is 24 hours in average. Doesn't matter if it is a HANA DB migration or if it is an SAP upgrade, whatever it is. In general, 24 hours. And the cost of the downtime for 1 hour, for a planned downtime hour, we assumed it's 50K. And we can save in this approach, in this project, 8.4 million euro by using the T-Systems data migration factory because of the elimination of the downtimes. And if you go back to your customers, or if you go back to your installation, please check what is the cost of downtime per hour when it's a planned downtime, and we can reduce this. And of course, we can reduce the project risk because in our data migration factory, the source system is untouched. So we will never change the source system where we are coming from. And this saves us a lot of time This saves us a lot of time for backup, extra backup. This gives us 10 hours more, 12 hours more during a cutover weekend. And with the same assumptions, 50K downtime per hour, we can save additional 1.5 million euro. And this is exactly what we can deliver with our T-Systems Data Migration Factory. And really happy to show you much more in detail about this. Maybe I can answer your questions already. So when I look with my left eye to the other screen, then I see there are some questions in the chat. So maybe we can answer your questions, or we can meet at one of our tables later on. Good. Are there any questions from your side? So no questions. So let me go back to show you the T-Systems Data Migration Factory. So one question I sometimes get is from which release we can start on. So from which SAP release we can use this T-Systems Data Migration Factory. So the extreme case we can help our customers is if you have still an R3 4.7 system, for example, we can migrate an R3 4.7 system to S/4HANA in one step with one downtime of the production environment. So this is really interesting, and this is wherever you come from, you can do this, and you can use this Q&A. Good. In this case, thanks a lot. If there are no questions, Thomas, anything to add from your side?
I think there's one question in the Q&A section.
Okay, then I have to move here. Based on your experience, what are your key success factors for migration? What should be avoided? The key success factor for migration, for me personally, it is the downtime, because the downtime is that what's really costing money. And so this is the key success factor. And when you do the migration with the Data Migration Factory, and for example with SNP, you have only this one downtime, and you combine a lot of things. You can reuse a lot of things. This saves you money, as I have described in the short example. And what should be avoided? You should avoid if you are doing an SAP migration, for example, to S/4HANA. You should avoid having a downtime for database upgrade, SAP upgrade, and an additional one. This should be absolutely avoided, because you can combine this, and this gives you time and speed for your migration.
So to add here, I shared a little bit of three phases: assess, mobilize, and migrate. And each phase gives you more confidence to achieve what you have defined. So readiness assessment, everything should be clearly tested out before you push the button. Yes, zero downtime. It's great to have and saves cost and headache, and then test ride it if everything goes fine. But also from a management perspective, full support from your management, right? Inform the business user about what and when you do it, right? And how you secure the daily business. So, but that's what Marcus described. Everything is taken in consideration. untouch the system while you migrate and then switch over when you're ready. And the cloud can provide you all the environment as Marcus, what he described, the cloud, AWS cloud, provides you all the environment in a virtual cloud, virtual private cloud, to set up different system and then switch when ready. And you test first out and then have the full switch over.
Right. There's another one. Using SAP in cloud is still seen a bit critical in my company. How should I approach the holdbacks? I think this is your question, Thomas, isn't it?
No, yeah, I mean, this is like perception, depending where it come from, looking at the participants, right? Different management, different countries, different perception. Again, it's very important that management and the company foster a cloud-first strategy, are convinced about the advantage. There are proven advantages, right? Best is to keep educating. We provide sessions together with the partner. You can reach out to AWS. We have a lone innovation workshop around SAP to talk through the different topics which you may have in mind and see, right? Very often, I mean, it's the unknownness, and the partner aside gives the assurance. And again, you can test ride it. There's no commit, right? We mention always a two-door policy, right? If you go through and you don't like what you see, you go back and have it, right? And usually, like in the traditional on-premise world, you buy the hardware and then you make the decision, you can't go back. Here, you can test ride. We have never seen somebody go back because you have the most agility and flexibility. So take a small project, run it proof, make it internal visible, talk about it, share the results, and then you win more mind share here. And we support commercially and help partners to do such test projects. So please reach out to Marcus or me.
Yeah, one example what we are doing with a lot of customers. I talked about this when I talked about cloud migration. So we are doing a lot of hybrid things. So the customer is running on premise or is running already in our private cloud IT systems. And they are starting with small projects, using AWS, for example. And then we can help our customers to build up these hybrid scenarios to manage both worlds and to be safe and in these two worlds. And there we have got a lot of examples. We can talk about this afterwards. Yeah.
So to add here, right, scenarios are different. Disaster recovery, if you are already committed for a certain period of time, now you can still expand, have peaks in the cloud, drive DRs. There is not the either or. Hybrid is definitely a key to support. AWS has broad tools to support a hybrid environment for production, non-production environment. A well-proven point. Just to quote BP, the oil company, right? They choose a hybrid approach when they move from Oracle to Sybase, saved millions in license costs, but switched directly to HANA. After the fact, the CIO quoted, we should have a full cloud first strategy, migrate everything and not run a hybrid mode, because you still have the old world and old mindset. So it would have been much more efficient to get greater TCO, and they achieved great TCO, by the way. So it depends on the perception, but you need to go through a learning path here as well and to experience. But you may say the same after that when you experience.
Great. Anything else? Or Thomas? Are you serving globally? Yes, we do. This is a very easy question.
That was a quick one.
Wherever you are.
Nice. I think, like, from my side, not any more questions. I just for your insights and looking forward to the discussion. And I would now go back to the tables and Just a quick last info, like you can switch tables by double clicking, so no need to stay on one table. And yeah, looking forward to the discussion. And like it's a quite nice mixture. So thanks for your input again, and see you on the tables. Nothing needs to be done; it's done automatically, hopefully. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.